cyanotypes before? Okay, so this is going to be a new process for people. These are just some examples of some cyanotypes that I made for this class. Normally, like a lot of the cyanotypes, you will see use like flowers and leaves and stuff. So what cyanotype is it is a photographic process where you coat the paper with some emulsion and then you expose it to sunlight. So this is a process that doesn't take a long time in practice, but it does take a long time in preparation. The supplies that were purchased for you, and the directions are on the back. They're it seems like a lot of steps, but it's not that difficult, and they're also here. So the first step is to mix your chemicals. The directions are on the packaging. That's the easiest way to do it. You will have 2 bottles in, part A and part B. You basically fill up your bottles with water and shake them a bunch of times until they're mixed. When you are ready to mix this together, I just use a mixing cup, and you mix half of part A and half of part B. Once this stuff is part A and part B are mixed together, you have to use it within a few days. You can't leave it for a long time. But these have a pretty long shelf life once you put water in them, as long as you don't mix them together, they've got a pretty long shelf life. So you can just mix them together and then leave it on your shelf. And then when you're ready to do a round of cyanotypes with your students, you can mix it together in your mixing cup, coat your paper, and go forward. And then just leave the rest in storage, just sort of the back of your closet, so it stays in the dark. Okay, does that make sense so far? Everybody good? Okay. And this is where your foam brushes come in. If you have foam brushes, I've got a couple back there already. And I've got some here because we can't all coat at the same time. We'll go back in groups of like 6 to coat. So you use your foam brush, dip it in your stuff, and just very gently pull it down your paper. Okay? You want to try and get as even a coating as possible on your paper. You just need a real thin coating across. It's going to look weird and yellow when you do it, and that's normal. Okay? So that's the first step for cyanotype. After we let the paper dry, after lunch, we'll talk about how to expose it and all the different things we can do, because I brought a bunch of different like stencils and found object things that I think would make some interesting shapes and shadows on the paper. So anyway, examples like this. I brought a bunch of cut glass pieces because I think they make fun shapes. So any questions so far?
And if you want to pre-coat them so the kids aren't doing it, if you get a black bag after they've been all dry, to store it in a nice secure double bag it or something, but make sure there's no light leaking through your black bag.
But on the subject of black bags, do not put your paper in the black bag wet, because the humidity will change the composition of this emulsion, which I learned firsthand. It makes a really cool effect, but it's maybe not necessarily exactly what you want.
Yeah, dry.
Yes. It'll make it like this weird blue color, and you're like, oh, did I do it? Yes, you did it wrong. So don't put it in the bag wet. But same thing, just like the screens, once this paper is coated, it needs to stay out of the light. Because once it hits the light, it starts activating. And this paper will activate outside in like a minute 30 seconds. So it goes fast once it starts to work. Okay. So you can accidentally expose it really quickly.
Couple things really quick too. I'm a cyanotype person, big time. A little goes a long way.
Yeah.
You don't need to be, brushing first 30 minutes. Like really quick brush. As long as it's coated, you're good. We bought those kits where you're gonna be able to make your own. Then we also bought fabric, pre-coated ones that work really well. Those are already boom, ready to go. The kids can make those, and then I guess if it was 1985, they could put them on the back of their jacket, or they could do something else with them, but those are really cool. They can also, like we said, with screen printing, they can bring in something if they want to and coat it. Lots of kids make t-shirts that are really like, if they do a white t-shirt, or if they do like a pillowcase or something, or even a blanket, they can do some really exciting things. And also, you have a mural kit, which is you get 1 or 2 of them. I think we got more than that. You might get 2 of them. They're 5 by 7 feet, already coated. So the whole class gets to make a mural together.
If you're ready, after all that, to go coat, like Justin said, you don't need a ton of this. You just dip your brush into the liquid, coat it across your paper a few times, and you're done. Like, it doesn't take a lot. Okay? So
around, that can work really well too. You can do it without the pressure, but you're going to start to see some interesting kind of fading, and you're not going to get like really solid lines everywhere. I have seen some people tape things down a little bit behind, you know, make some tape rings and kind of tape it down if they have a darkroom space, and then take it out, and that can help too. So I'm going to place this over top. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. And you should see the paper start out as like that kind of lightish green pukiness. Kind of. So I usually just lift my paper up and kind of dump everything off. You should see images automatically. That means you're headed in the right direction. And then you're going to come over and put it in your bath. Kind of run it back and forth, old school, like you're developing a photograph. Now this part, when I throw it in the bath, I can be out in the light if I need to. Once I've exposed it like that, I can be in the light. But we thought it was just easier to stay here because then you'd be right here.
And that's just regular water, or is that the salt water?
So this is regular water,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna, she didn't have any salt, but she did have some hydrogen peroxide.
So we're doing like 4 minutes, 1.5 to 3 minutes.
It's even kind of yellowed out still. So this was 8 minutes.